They're at 7.
We're into picks and bans.
They're at 7 points, so yeah. If they got a draw, they'd be 7 points. So I think that would secure them.
I think people can get. I think 3 teams can get to 9 points though, and War could overtake them. So I think they need to 2-0 to guarantee their spot in the playoffs. We are into picks and bans. Giants on the blue, Origin on the red. Castlin ban straight away from Giants. Not too surprising against Scarlet, and Zach from Origin. Yeah,
Scarlet's had his casting ban at least twice already away from him. He's very, very good at scaling mid laners. Vladimir, Kassadin, Cassiopeia. I mean, perfect to take that one away. The Rek'Sai ban against Zani, a little bit confusing, just because, again, he's a very supportive jungler. He has some of the lowest damage in terms of the kind of junglers he's playing. You're talking about this, Ivan. You're talking about, you know, Gragas even. I mean, taking that one away, fair enough, but I think it could have been focused a little bit more.
So are you letting Caitlyn through here? Origin letting Caitlyn through for Giants?
You give them Galio at that stage.
Yeah, you give them Galio
or Thresh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this
Quickseth is a godlike Thresh player as well.
No, you're not letting Caitlyn.
So you now have the pick of Thresh, Galio for Giants, and I imagine if whichever one isn't picked, Origin likely respond with.
I think the problem for Origin is though, like Giants can pick Thresh here because I don't look at Origin and say any of them play Galio. Yeah. I don't see a single Galio player on that team.
Absolutely, and actually the locking of the Kennen here, that's a really interesting move because if this is going to Dan, which we have seen Dan play before, it does limit Galio's potential in the top lane for Giants. They would have to then put that onto Jizuki in the mid lane, who Jizuki, by the way, has played a lot of control-based mages, very good at the Orianna, for instance. That was a big pick for him throughout the couple of last weeks. They get the combo, though. They get the Thresh Kalista combo for mini Trupax and Jack Trolls in the bot lane. That's going to be pretty big.
Absolutely. That's another time he's not playing Caitlyn, obviously, because she's banned. And if he's so proficient on this Caitlyn, it's going to be scary enough on this Kalista as well. I mean, imagine a late game Kalista with a Thresh for an engage tool, especially with someone like Jizuki in the mid lane who can control, and you can kind of already put the coin on it and say, okay, he's not going to lose mid lane against Scarlet because Scarlet again prefers those scaling mid laners. He's going to be able to hold his own for sure. Mini Trupax is going to be someone you're going to have to watch out for, and I think this is going to be honestly the matchup as well to watch out for.
Right, it's a Kha'Zix lock as well for Origin, so that would be Zani taking it in the jungle. Now we have mid laners open and perhaps top laners for Giants. Could be Gragas jungle, could be Gragas top, of course. Origin are going to get rid of the Orianna, and people are very happy about that, apparently.
Well, Orianna ban against Jizuki makes a lot of sense. He is an absolute monster with that champion. Looks like they're going to start limiting potential AD carry pickups for Origin here. Tristana the first. Now waiting for Origin to decide on their second ban. Whether they limit something that would be an issue for Dan in the top lane if he were to take that Kennen to the top lane. No, they're going to continue to put the chokehold on Jizuki's champion pool there.
I think that's the right thing to do. Tristana ban here against Darkseid, fair enough. I was gonna say you ban away the Lucian as well because in CSQ he was so good, and obviously perfect synergy with Braum, right? So banning away the Cassiopeia, limiting Scarlet's pool again, I think is very good, but he can go on this Vladimir. I think you just concentrate on where you're strongest, which is your bottom lane at this current time, but taking that one away and just rounding out the draft.
This draft is so interesting now because they are throwing up the question whether OG are going to try a Reckless and go for a Kennen bot lane.
No. It would 100% this is Dan top.
I know, but
and Darkseid is going to pick Lucian.
I agree. I mean, I agree, but the way they have drafted has made the question there in Giants' mind whether that would be the case.
I can understand where you're coming from, but I think if Giants have done any research whatsoever, you look at this Origin lineup and you say that Kennen is never going to go towards Darkseid.
I understand completely, but it's just the way this is drafted out.
Something really interesting Giants could have done there is actually take Lucian in the mid. Obviously not going against Galio because he's banned, but or Kassadin, sorry. He could have still taken that one away, but they do actually lock in the LeBlanc instead for Jizuki coming up against that Kassadin. Gonna rush Morello, so that Grievous Wounds will be there, like we've seen in other games.
If they pick Kennen AD carry now, I'm gonna have to just eat my words. Oh, don't pick Akali. Please don't pick Akali.
Akali would be great.
I
like Dan as well.
I like Akali. Oh, they've got Fiora as well. Okay, maybe it's Kennen AD carry. I apologize, it's Scoundrel. I was wrong. I shouldn't have. Do you know what,
eat your words. Because I'm nice, I'm not going to rub your face.
You're welcome.
We don't know yet. Right? Okay, yes.
Kennen AD carry. I just don't like Kennen AD carry as part of this composition. I really don't think it works that well. But hey, they've decided to go for it. I apologize, Scoundrel. I was wrong. You are right. Great doubt setting. That is why you're the color caster. It's why I'm the play-by-play, and I know nothing in comparison to you. All hail the mighty Scoundrel. Talk to me about these compositions.
Admittedly, it is a weird thing to do because not many other AD carries have been able to successfully replicate Kennen in the AD carry position other than Reckless. I keep saying Reckles' name in really weird ways.
Reckles.
But anyway, Dan, I think what's more important to know here is Dan has been given his signature champion on a patch where he just received a buff.
I'm so ready for this.
So, I mean, that's a big deal.
Against the Jarvan as well, he's got so much dueling potential. Jarvan's got that escape with the flag and drag, which he's also going to want to use for an engage. So he really has to time that well. And Dan, yeah, he's got his 50 extra range on his Empower. So it's not the biggest buff in the world, but definitely helps his training potential.
Decent. I mean,
it's decent, yeah, but it's not like a damage buff. It's not like they're upping his numbers or anything. But Dan on his Jax, and I said, if you get Jax, if you get Dan in a winning matchup, I think, honestly, he's actually going to give Giants a run for their money. We've seen him in games before when he's like 5-0 and the rest of his team are like falling a little bit behind. It is possible to kind of come back.
Is it a winning matchup?
Yes, if Kazakh's focuses top lane. Again, there's a little bit of CC
okay, so if it's a 2v1, it's a winning matchup.
If it's a 2v2, I think it's
early lane, Jax is going to really struggle against Jarvan, but as the game progresses, post-level 6 especially, Jax tends to run away with most 1v1 matchups. Yeah. Again, this is a very split-push focused for OG, going back to their CSQ style of play, where Dan primarily sits in a side lane, dominates 1v1, joins the teamfights when necessary, and they do have good late-game teamfights with the Vladimir in there. So
even the Kennen. I would have liked... I agree. I would have actually liked to see the Lucian instead, because Kennen, maybe he's actually messaged Reckless and goes, hey man, give me some tips on AD Kennen, because I want to bring
I'm sure a lot of AD characters have done that. I just haven't seen a good AD Kennen from anywhere else yet. And of course it is getting nerfed on 7.13, so we're probably not going to see it that much anymore.
I agree. I mean, this is the right way to the question. The only reason was because the draft lined up that way. There was no other reason for it other than the draft lining up that way. Again, we haven't seen anyone else replicate the success that Reckles has had with AD Kennen, so it's difficult to sort of theorize about people playing because you don't know whether it's possible. But in this particular situation, the Kennen provides a lot of teamfight control, and it kind of does similar to what RB were doing with Vladimir. Instead of speeding the Vladimir up, you slow and control everybody else on the enemy team so the Vladimir can kind of achieve the same thing.
Well, we are on to the Summoner's Rift. It is the final series of the day, and it is myself and Jaws to bring you all of the action.
Here we go, Dan. He's got the SKT skin as well. That's good luck right there. I'm telling you right now.
Is it good luck to have an SKT skin?
Yeah. SKT did win this morning. Spoilers.
Mugen was playing SKT Elise as well.
There you go.
So soon there's actually, I think when this next set of skins comes out, there's more SKT skins than there are Yorick skins.
Yes, that's correct.
Which is quite funny.
Faker's got more skins than an actual champion in the game. But let's look at the early game here from both of these sides. Looking at Giants, you're going, okay, so there's a lot of CC. Jizuki's not going to be able to die in this matchup, although Scarlet has gone the Ignite. You're thinking, okay, with that teleport, would I need to go Ignite or some kind of exhaust? Because most mid laners, even if they're assassins right now, are going this teleport. And I think that's a bit odd from Scarlet. But nevertheless, you look at Minitroopax, Jack Troll. Very, very proficient bot lane. Minitroopax not dying yet. Yeah. He's not only incredibly safe, his team just knows how to play around him perfectly. And I do think if Gilius can get ahead on this Gragas, it's going to be very, very hard for Zani actually to come back on this Kazakhs. Because again, he plays so many supportive junglers that I was very surprised when they did lock the Kazakhs in for him, in all honesty. I
think a lot of it comes down to early game for Giants as well. They're the strongest early game team, have the highest amount of towers at 15 minutes of any team, 1.5 on average they have at 15 minutes. They've got the most towers taken to towers lost as well. They take 10 towers, Jaws, for every single tower they lose, which is an astronomical number, in all honesty. Last season we were talking about Schalke being incredible, and they were taking 5 for every one they lose. Here, Giants have just doubled that. Now, Giants do have a tough run-in for the rest of the split. They haven't played against RB yet. They haven't played against Schalke yet. Obviously, haven't played against Origin yet as well, so they have some tough matchups ahead, but if they win today, they are through to the playoffs. Perhaps not guaranteed first, but looking like it at the moment.
Absolutely. One thing you've got to think about as well, is that going to get in OG's heads? They know Giants are the strongest team here. Darkside, an extremely aggressive laner. Loves to play this high-hitting, heavy early game AD carries. Not so much this time on the Kennen. But regardless of the fact, he's still got Quickstep to back him up. And Quickstep's Thresh has been massive for him as well. But I do actually like the takeaway from Jack Troll actually forcing him on this Thresh. But is it a really force at that point? Well, no, Thresh was picked first, sorry, so it wasn't a force whatsoever, but as I realised, yeah, I was completely wrong. I mean, Darkseid is going to get pushed.
being wrong as well.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's why we have Xandra here to be right.
Some of the time.
Some of the
Giants
time,
do have pushing lanes in bot and mid at the moment. Looks like Gilius is just going to top farm his entire jungle up and then go down towards his red buff and just push down towards the bottom side. Zani was looking to see if there's anything up towards the top side. Nothing yet. Ignite onto Quickseth as well. He's going to try and jump away. The render's there. Has the flash and heal used. The stun on Jack Troll does connect, but look at the CS advantage already for Mini Trupax and Jack Troll in this bottom lane. 11 ahead as the wave pounds down towards the tower.
Oh man, that is so bad for Darkside right now. Blowing that heal is going to be really important because it gives it that extra little speed boost in order to get away from Mini Trupax's immense ability to be able to catch up with him if he does lock on and just focus him down. The one thing about Kalista as well, that sustained damage, you're looking for that burst potential at the end. Something that Skarlet is not going to be able to kind of deal with. You think as Vladimir, yeah, he's very sustainable, yes, because he can heal loads. If you've got a load of spears in you and then he rends you for a ton of his HP, same with LeBlanc. I mean, she's going to burst him down rather than that sustained fight that Skarlet really needs. However, OG, with the team fight and then 4-1 split push composition we're coming out from Dan, is also pretty scary. Darkside's ult straight into Skarlet Hemoplague.
Yep.
It is all up in the air, but I mean, Giants right now, they do look incredibly strong, and if Jizuki can get those roams off of Gilius just on that pushing lane LeBlanc in the mids, it's going to be very, very hard for Zani actually to make an impact.
Skarlet does struggle as well in the early game, especially when facing up against these sort of higher level mid laners. He tends to be behind in gold, almost 1,000 gold behind at the 15-minute mark, behind an XP as well. And it's partly to do with his champion pool. These scaling mid laners is his sort of bread and butter. The Kassadin, Cassiopeia, the Vladimir, what we've tended to see him on. I think he's played one game on Syndra as well. But he can struggle when faced up against higher level opposition. And Jizuki's also trying to prove that he is higher level opposition. He's had a good split thus far. Highest KDA of any mid laner. I don't like using KDA, but it was the best stat I had for him. It's 9.3 from that mid lane. Yeah,
pretty high.
Tends to be ahead in the laning phase as well. And
you will do on that LeBlanc.
Zani
coming in for a gank though, wow.
Flash away from Jack Troll straight away. But you kind of like, that's just perhaps a little bit too much anticipation, but it was good from Giants to respect that engage from the bottom lane.
The only one time Quickseth is gonna go aggressive is when Zani's there. So it was a hell of a prediction because there was no actual ward in the brush. And Quickseth jumping to a minion, then queuing, and then walking forwards. It's very easy to kind of tell, especially in these high-level games, when someone wants to go in or when a jungler is hanging around. It's a very big tell. That's what you do, especially as a mid laner. You hold back. You hold back if you want the jungler to come in, but then if the other mid laner kind of clocks that and go, okay, he's playing weird now. He's playing a little bit further back, or he's playing a little bit more aggressive. What's going on? And you put that element of doubt in their mind. And it can really lead to just that. Blowing the flash on Jack Troll isn't massive, and he can use the Lantern to get Mini Trupax to safety as well, so well coordinated in that regard. But now look at Ruin. It's kind of got this freeze on Dandan here. It's going to be a big wave actually crashing into Dandan's turret. Hasn't given Zani a lot of time to actually visit that top lane, which is what I alluded to in Champ Select. Play around Dandan, get him head early. But it's not happening thus far.
Gank in the mid lane is going to happen as Jack Troll goes in. Zani's there as well, but already Skarlet's used the Hemoplague. Has to try and flash away one more auto. Not enough. The Hemoplague heals him up. Jizuki there as well. Zani and Quickseth have joined the fray. Gilius joins. Here's Ruin! Cataclysm to the face! Ignite used from Quickseth as well, and the TP cancelled from Dan. Giants just slightly quicker on the reaction.
That was terrifying. Flag and drag over the wall straight on Skarlet's head. Goodbye. And he picks up the kill as well. He was also 10 CS. Well, he'll be about 6 CS now ahead of Dan. And with that kill, he's going to pick up Tiamat. And what do you know? He's got the Ninja Tab Eyes as well. That's exactly what OG didn't want to happen. Ruin getting ahead in this lane. Not even by killing Dan, by killing Skarlet of all people. And without the flash, it's not too massive for the Kassadin just because you can pull, but now Jizuki's going to have pretty much free reign over this mid lane. Let's look at this replay here. So Jizuki goes really low. He has no worry about Zani in the mid lane. Boom. Comes straight on top, but being exhausted in mid-air, and it just wasn't enough. And now Zani really has his work cut out for him. He's going to get spotted on the blue. Not too much of an issue, but Giants very good at taking these early leads and sticking with them.
That they are. Mini Trupax has a slight lead in the bottom lane. About 15 to 20 CS or so when it all rounds out. Ruin taking an advantage up towards the top side as well. Has burnt his teleport. Dan's used his as well, but Ruin, of course, flashless. for the time being. Does allow Zani the possibility of a top side gank. He's going to go and get his red now, you would assume. And actually some deep wards coming out from Giants over to that red side. Would be interesting to look at exactly where they have scouted out to see if they can track Zani effectively through his red side jungle.
That vision line is going to be incredibly important. Rune's going to set a little bit up here as well. Nice hook, actually, onto Darkside. He's got a couple of spears in him. He's going to use that lightning rush to get away. And the biggest stat here for Origin as well, 15 minutes. 50 minutes into the game, on average, they are negative 2,300 gold. It's one of the biggest in the league right now. Scarlet, again. Second biggest. There you go. Just getting jumped on by Jizuki. Wow.
Slicing Maelstrom from Darkside. Jacktroll looking for the lantern back. Darkside will be able to escape for the time being. Quickset eating up all of the spears. Like a porcupine.
He is.
In that bottom lane. A Christmas porcupine. Imagine that. You open up your Christmas gift, you dive your hands in. What meets your hand? What meets the fleshy embrace of your palm?
Oh,
well, it's the Fates. Cool. Quickset met with an explosive cast onto Darkside as well. He's going to try and lightning rush away. The Ren comes out. The piercing spear. The death to Darkside. What more auto would have done it, but Darkside escapes. He was an... Yeah.
All right, Minnie, calm down, man.
He's the porcupine in the bottom lane.
He is the
like
porcupine.
Sonic.
I was more thinking about a Christmas meal rather than anything else, I'm going to be honest with you. Porcupine.
You would eat porcupine.
If it tastes good, sure.
But they're so cute.
Okay, I'll give you that one, yeah.
I bet you'd eat dog as well, wouldn't you?
What's that very condescending tone you've got with me?
There's nothing wrong with eating dog.
No, you're right.
Origin up towards the top side, going to look for a tower. They did lose first tower blood for Giants. That means they maintain their 100% record on the first towers throughout the Challenger Series. Ruin here to defend. And it's a 3,000 gold lead for Giants, only 10 minutes in. If they can extend this even further, then Origin's stats will begin to skew upwards. Giants have just looked incredibly strong against every team they have faced thus far.
There's not really been a team that's phased them in that regard. And now we're looking at Dan with the CS lead finally over Ruin. He's got that tier map, so he's kind of coming online, but the issue now, they have to lane swap. So Darkside and Quickstep are going to be down on this bottom side. They can't be there right now. I think you just fully commit. You go, okay, we lost bot one. We lost bot tier 1. Go out to that top side because we need pressure around that Rift Herald. If Giants get that Rift Herald, it's pretty much done, especially for Scarlet in this mid. A Vladimir that has lost his first tier turret is going to be more than useless, especially against someone like a Block who has teleport, who has the mobility to roam around the map. Scarlet's been going to be kind of hugging his tier 2, and it just leaves Gilius a whole lot of time to roam and get vision down. You commit now, and I think that's what they are doing. You can see now Darkside and Quickstep going up towards that top side, now Dan going to bottom lane. At least they've got teleport. Jizuki punishing Scarlet though, yet creating this massive freeze.
Yeah, that's a dirty freeze to have to play into in the mid lane. Rift Herald is up towards the top side, as are 3 members of Giants. Dan's just going to push in the spot lane, but Darkside and Quickset hooked up once again. Quickset puts down the unbreakable wall and does force Giants back for the time being. However, it looks like Gilius and Zani are going to meet in the jungle. Gilius just retreats away once again.
So one massive problem we've seen with Kha'Zix specifically in CS is their little to no impact in the early game. And you look at someone like Dan especially, just not being able to make plays and make proactive maneuvers on lanes that have CC. And then you look at the lanes of Origin, who has CC? Dan, okay, he's got his Counter-Strike, great. Scarlet, absolutely nothing. Darkside, he's got a stun. Quickstep, he's got a stun. You want to make plays down to our bottom side every time you kind of clear a couple of camps. You want to make sure Mini-Trupax doesn't get ahead and grant him his first death as well, right? That's also a nice little stat to have. Scarlet, might be a little
Scarlet
call out,
knocked back, did not expect a flash body slam. Had flash, had Sanguine Pool, had all the escapes he needed, but just could not get away from Gilius and his ganks.
Oh man, you know Gilius is going to be around topside as well because Mini-Trupax and Jacktroll are pushing in. Proactively playing against Zani's pressure is exactly what Gilius is doing. And now he's getting some deep vision down. They spotted out Zani now. And look at this, look how aggressive Giants are being, clearing out control wards between the 2 turrets. Not scared of Darkside because Kennen needs items to scale up. Only has a recurve bow going towards the Blade of the Ruined King. Dan, yes, is shoving in. Ruin, fantastic, but you just leave Ruin. There's no real need to interact with that lane because there's no massive advantages on that side of the map.
Dan does have TP. Ruin's going to base and then look perhaps to TP up here. Look at the follow there from Jizuki. That was nice play from him to be able to track that Kha'Zix. There will be another tower falling. 13 minutes in, 2 turrets to 0. Giants on track once again for another win, although Dan's got something to say about it. A 30 CS lead in the bottom side of the map on this Jax is starting to scale up.
Oof. Zani almost went down there again. Jizuki flashed after him, but Zani flashed away. Yeah, so great. Dan's got a lead. You know, he's taking away golems, in fact, from Gilius, but Gilius is like, yeah, whatever, we'll just take top turret, that's cool. And the thing with Scarlet right now, he's at this point in the game, look at the items he has. Silk shoes, you know, great, fantastic magic pen early on. No magic mantle. He has a ruby crystal and an amp tome. He has no damage. He has a tiny bit of survivability versus Jizuki, who has oh my goodness. All right, okay.
The
Gilius
Jungle King
showing off now.
Bow before the Gragas, guys. Gilius knows what's up.
It was like, maybe Zani's round there. Give me that red. It's on a short enough cooldown.
Yes, but I've never seen that before. It wasn't even like he did it and knocked it away or anything. It wasn't like it was contested. It was just like straight to the face. It's what happens if you drink too much, guys. Taken out by Gilius.
Misclick, boys.
Probably wasn't a misclick.
Probably not.
Gilius has actually played very well early on in this game. There were a lot of people doubting him coming in to the European Challenger Series Summer Split because he has been around so many Challenger Series teams. He's never recently been able to step up to that LCS level. And people doubted that he'd be able to challenge some of the higher level junglers that we have in Challenger Series this split. But he's done a very good job, has always been controlling of the map, and has been able to keep track of his enemy jungler relatively well.
I think, yeah, I completely agree. Gilius has just been such a standout performer on Giants. His ability to telegraph where the enemy jungler is as well is also fantastic. I mean, we know Zani's going to be up topside because Mini Trupax and Jack Troll are forcing in. Scarlet might be a little bit caught here, does use a Sanguine Pool. Jack Troll off with a hook, goes a little bit wide.
And Scarlet still has flash as well.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't want to blurt again though, especially not at this point in the game when you're level 9. You have that tier 2 on your ultimate now. So this is the point in the game where you need to kind of force something here. Darkside, he hasn't got Blade the Ruined King. Zani being forced out time and time again. Jizuki actually does use the Cutlass.
Bilgewater, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was the Gunblade, but not yet. That would be ridiculous if you had it 15 minutes, if you bought full boots.
I like the way that Giants are playing up towards the top side of the map as well, because they're kind of accepting the fact that Dan's just going to push. As long as Ruin isn't dying in that bottom lane, it's fine. They can put 4 members up towards this top side. They have the advantage. They get another tower. It's the 3rd one of the game for them. And 16 minutes in, they are 5,500 gold ahead. It was about 4,500 at 15 minutes, which is the largest of any team thus far on average. I haven't looked at the individual numbers. I'm sure Wind and Rain perhaps were further behind in some of their games.
So punishing this is now for OG. They've lost 3 turrets without contention. And yeah, I like that strategy from Giants. All right, Dan's going to push. That's cool. Jarvan, Tiamat, fine.
You've already taken the dragon.
Yeah,
Rift Herald's on the cards as well. You can just play up towards that side.
And that's what Gilius is so good at, which you alluded to a second ago. Telegraphing where... well, Zani's dead. All right, cool. Well, telegraphing where Zani is and playing around that as well, and then forcing Scarlet to flash in the mid lane. And now Zani's trying to get back some of his jungle. But hey, Gilius is in the bush. Like I said, Jizuki, because he's got mid lane pressure now, because Scarlet hasn't got that tier 1, there's nothing you can do. Look at the wave clear here from OG. What are you going to do at this point? You can't do anything without your Kennen, and then even Kennen doesn't have anything in terms of wave clear.
This is actually a weakness that we've seen from Origin before, is they'll accept Dan split pushing, and if he gets ahead, it's great and they win the game off him late game, but at this point, they never bring Dan to the fight. They never say, Dan, we need to stem the bleeding. We need to plug some of these holes in our sinking ship. They say, okay, Dan, you keep split pushing. It's fine. Look at Ruin there. He manages to go all the way from bottom lane to mid just to put down a standard and force the enemy back.
Walks back.
Exactly. And Dan, during that time, what did he do? He went back. Yes, he's got a Trinity Force now. Great. You have to impact the game with this CS lead you're getting. Otherwise, the gold you are pushing on towards this Jax is totally ineffective.
Okay, so let's have a look how OG can now stem the bleeding. We'll have a look at the gold totals, though, first really quickly. Gilius, 2K, 1.5k over Zani. Not too much of a surprise, got 3 assists. Look at the farm differential. We're talking 40 plus here because Zani has had no control of his jungle, but Gilius, on the other hand, has had full control. It's been absolutely fantastic. Then look at the 80 carries. 5.2k on a Kennen that needs scaling versus 7.8 on a Kalista who now has both the Rune King going into the Rune Hands, which she just picked up.
The only people who are even are Dan and Ruin. That's the only place it's even, and that's not affecting the game in any way because Dan's just playing his own farming simulator. Like, he's playing Stardew Valley at the moment.
Literally
he's planted some ancient fruit. He's gone off mining for a little bit. He's got himself some cows. Jizuki can actually chase him out here, and he is going to get caught out by Giants. Tries to use the ward jump away, counter strike, knock back, explosive cast. Dan tries to get the Empower off, but you can't do much against 4 members of Giants. And Dan split push and pays for it with his life. Giants 5-0 up.
How do you deal with a team of split push? Okay, cool. You can team fight 5v4 and then hope Dan doesn't teleport in. How do you deal with someone that the rest of your team is so far behind that you can't even pressure a tier 1 turret in bot lane when you're Jax with a Trinity Force? You just go up and kill him.
Exactly.
He's so far down his lane right now with all the turrets, all the tier 1 turrets now being taken. It's incredibly hard for him to impact the fights at all. Darkseid is not at the point now where he can duel anybody by any stretch of the imagination.
Quickseth is just destroyed.
Giants playing this game to an absolute T.
This is 20 minutes into the game. Not even that. 19 minutes, 20 seconds. This is reminiscent of the performance last week by Giants.
He's also on a ward.
Yep. Puts the counter strike down. Flayed back. Hooked in. And Dan is done. Oh, here comes the Hemo Plague from Scarlet, trying to ghost his way in. Actually, doesn't even have ghost, just running with that extra movement speed.
Oh, there we go.
Darkseid has to flash away. He's been rendered. Mini True can't quite get the kill. Scarlet knocked up. Scarlet taken out. Mini Truepax gets another. Is this just the game, Jaws? 22-second death timers on the majority of Origin. They will go instead just for the inhibitor. They do not want the win before the 20-minute mark. That would just be rude. They are willing to wait it out and let Origin have a little bit of dignity.
The funniest thing about this right now is the fact that they take so long to kill the inhibitors because they've got no damage, because they haven't had the chance to back, they haven't had a chance to get a couple of items under their belt. At this point in the game, there's Origin, there's really no way you can come back from this. You're at a 12k deficit with 10-0, no turrets, no dragons. This very well could be a perfect game from Giants.
Oh, don't say it, Josh, you've ruined it now, mate.
I haven't ruined it.
100% OG are going to get like 1 kill because they died the
and it's going to be Mini.
Mini
will die.
I was tweeting with him earlier and I was saying he doesn't appear on one of the stats pages, and I was joking it's because he hasn't died yet, so everyone thinks he's a ninja and they can't show his stats because they don't want to reveal his secrets. And he's like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die to show up my stats, but now you've cursed him. If he dies, it all comes back to you, Jaws. All of the Giants fans, make sure you tweet at him saying how dismayed you are in Jaws the Caster for predicting that Mini Truepax will die, even though Giants have a 12,500 gold lead at 20 minutes. This has to be the largest gold lead we have seen in the Challenger Series this split.
OG is sitting there right now, scratching their heads like, okay, so what went wrong with our team? What went wrong with the composition in the early game? I'll tell you exactly what went wrong. Zani almost had no control of his jungle. Scarlet got too pressured out to really do anything. And then on your bot lane just got way too far behind. Ruin maybe just going for something. Quickseth. Jizuki playing with him at the moment. Oh,
Ruin with the KS, man.
Yeah.
Jizuki did all the work for that.
He did.
Ruin just trying to pad his stats because he knows he's not going to get the CS numbers against Dan, so he wants the KDA to try and match it. Still looking for that rank 7 Jarvan up towards the top side. Needs those S+s, Jaws, otherwise he won't be able to get there.
You need those new honor. You need the new honor system.
Yes, untiltable.
Untiltable, yeah.
Well, maybe OG are untiltable after this game and they come back for the next one. This is Baron, though. That's 22 minutes in, and that's going to be a Baron going. There's no way that Origin can even look to contest this.
How much they smite from? Oh, okay. They didn't. They didn't rend then smite. I would have been curious to see how much a rend would have done if he has like 70 spears in him. He's actually going Giant's Belt as well, which could allude to a Frozen Mallet. QSS
Giant's Belt. Seems good, man.
Seems and feels good, man.
You don't really need more damage at this point.
No.
Exactly. That's why you don't need more damage, because you're already killing people.
Well, Quickseth's dead again, unfortunately. As picked up the Swiftest boost to decay those stunts.
I want to just talk about Origin for a second, though, because Giants have played well, as we expected them to do. They did this against PSG last week, but Origin, the one week they've looked really good, was the week they were playing with their substitute bot lane. When Neon and Illusionist were there, they still didn't quite manage to win it out, but they played a lot better. My question is there a point at which you say we need to sub them back in?
Illusionist.
So good play on that
Illusionist,
regard.
yeah, it was an absolute god. He can honestly challenge Kasing in that regard, but I don't think we're just going to end the game right here.
Giants are going to be on track for a perfect game. They will get the Nexus Towers. They will get the first perfect game of the European Summer Split. And you have to give them credit. This was a performance straight from a textbook.
I didn't jinx it either. They actually got the perfect game, and thank you. Mini not dying either. It just... Giants, I don't think, again, they didn't show too much. They're just macro play completely outshined Origin. And in all honesty, I think Scarlet may be the weak link in that regard, just going up against Jizuki, because Jizuki, very aggressive, playing the LeBlanc, and scaling mid laner, not so hot against such an oppressive jungler as well.
What do you think, Scoundrel? You got to view it from an outside perspective?
It's difficult to break that down in real terms. Realistic, for me, that was...
Oh, go on,
in real terms.
Break it down for me in real terms, mate.
No, okay, real terms. They're just better players.
Yeah, okay.
They just won by being better players. Like they won the laning phase. This is the classic scenario of win lane, win game. I mean, you can talk all you want about macro rotations, but when you are, you know, fighting someone who's kind of crawling to defend turrets, you know, you already win anyway. So they could do whatever they want in terms of macro game and still won. They just won the lane so hard that they ended up winning the game.
Well, let's see how they did manage to win those lanes so hard in these replays. It was like kicking a horse when it's down. A dead horse. They just kept beating on them time and time again. At the moment, at this point, it was only 800 gold, but it only snowballed from here.
Oh, God, ruin over there. Like I said, that was terrifying. And then, look, you have Gilius, who's just, in every single one of these fights, beautiful casket as well to set up the kill. But Ichu backs, they were getting a little bit too aggressive with that. Almost inking it. One more spear would have done it, or that barrel from Gilius. But regardless of that, just the sheer pressure play from Gilius, absolutely massive. Again, in the fights here, and they play around Jax's counter-strike. Yeah. One massive thing and one massive counter to Jax. You stand around him and just wait for him counter-strike to wear off, then he's got nothing.
And their vision control is really strong as well. I think that's a big thing. Like, you can get ahead, but what they did so well, and we mentioned it a few times, is they placed deep vision so they could catch Zani out time and time again and catch people out in the jungle. Oh. And then the flanks from Ruin were absolutely on point.
Turns out Korean laners are very good at using teleport, or very good at coordinating themselves around the map, and Ruin proving that exactly.
Perfect game.
I think one of the major issues is you took a very late game scaling composition with the Jax and the Vladimir into a team that has been known to get dominant from the outset. Yeah. And Agilius, who has got such good impact in the laning phase, the